Please join me in welcoming Sarah Paff, a good friend, one of the founding members of the Women's Opportunity Network. Sarah serves as a financial advisor at UBS and just returned from China on an Opportunity International Insight trip last month. Please join me in welcoming Sarah.
Good afternoon, good afternoon. You've seen this out on the table about future Insight trips. How many of you here have been on an Insight trip? Would you raise your hands? Oh my gosh, so this is like preaching to the choir. But for those of you who have not been on an Insight trip, there are some fabulous opportunities in 2018, and they're highlighted here. Ghana in May, Uganda in July, Colombia in September, Nicaragua, October. There are many opportunities for those of you who are yet uninitiated to the joy of an Insight trip to pick one of these up, invite a friend to come with you, travel, see incredibly what you can do to make the difference in a life with a loan. So there are the opportunities out here for you to register for those even before you leave today. And so please consider doing that. My portion today is to just briefly, very briefly, talk about my journey with opportunity, my journey in exploration with the world. And I was really, really lucky to grow up on my grandparents' farm in southeastern Ohio. And when I was about 7, I convinced my best friend, Nancy, to come with me into the backfield. We got a couple of our brothers, and we started to dig. We were convinced if we dug a hole deep enough, we could go to China. So we dug and we dug and we dug, and we put my little sister, who was 5, down in the hole. None of us went down. We put her down there, and just then my mother came flying out of the house, quite rightly, to put an end to this endeavor. So we never got to see China from that hole in the backyard in Ohio. But that was really my sort of, I think, first indication that I had some longing to see the world beyond my borders. And just recently, I joined one of our Insight trips that just came back from China. Previously, I had done a second Insight, the first Insight trip I did was Colombia 3 years ago. And so why do it? You've heard us talk about this all through the day and last night. Why? Why do this? For me, I'm struck by a phrase that the late essayist and author Anais Nin said. She said, "We don't see the world and the things as they are. We see them as we are." So how is it that I think the Insight trip will help change the way we see things? It's all there, just as it is. We see it differently. So to me, the opportunity to say, I thought I knew. I've been involved with opportunity, as you heard, for a really long, long time. And I had never gone on an Insight trip. I always had some reason, all of them quite valid, but I'd never gone. And so finally I went. I thought I knew what it was like to see women who lived on the hillsides after having to flee conflict with the FARC live in homes that are made out of packing crates. I thought I knew how hard that could be. I thought I might understand what it's like to be one of the 250 million people in China who still live less than $2 a day. And while there might be reasons we should or shouldn't be in certain programs around the world, when you see our work firsthand on the ground, that lens through which you look is forever changed. So for me, being on an Insight trip makes me a stronger advocate for our clients. It makes me an incredible, incredible cheerleader for the talent of our local partners in country and for the loan officers that go out there and work so diligently and reach to the poorest of the poor. It's made me absolutely passionately aware of the talent that gets unlocked with a loan. So I would ask you to consider joining one of the trips. As I would go through these areas, these little communities, these are the communities that other people want to forget about. They don't want to even recognize that they exist. I kept thinking of the words of Teresa of Avila when she says, "Christ has no body but yours, no hands, no feet on this earth but yours. Your eyes are the eyes that look compassion. Your hands are the hands which bless this world, and your feet are the feet with which he walks. So I urge you to sign up today before you leave, get the information, invite a friend, and be forever transformed. I think it's very interesting that my grandfather, the farm I grew up on, raised hogs. And in China, we met a farmer who raised pigs and had used his multiple loan cycles to grow his business. And when I could tell him that I knew what it was like to grow hogs, there was this connection that I don't think he could have ever imagined or I could have imagined. So I invite you to join an Insight trip and be a part of the Opportunity Network at work. Thank you.